So here we've got a bill of materials file that's been sent over to us from customer. It's in PDF format, but it could equally be the table of contents on a drawing sheet, but basically we've got a document that we've got to take information from, and this is just a scanned image, so it's not an electronic document that we can automatically take some information from. Within the visual IPI, I'm going to create a new item to use as a bomb creation tool. It's not actually a part in the true sense of the word, so I'm going to create that as a specification document, and I'm not going to worry too much about any naming of that at the moment, because we can take that off the top of the documentation. So what we've got here is a tool to data mine an attached image. So if I go and attach that image, there's the file. So we've just attached that PDF, and I can highlight an area where we've got an interest in some of the information. If I double click on there, I can go grab the information. That's obviously the part name, and go back and grab some further information. That's the part number. My part revision is 35. The drawing number is almost the same. There we go. Drawing revision is a D, and that's as much as I need. So there's some part details. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go through and grab information direct from the bill of materials list, the table, and I'm just highlighting each row in turn, and I'm not too concerned about the item number. If this was on a drawing, I may wish to cross-reference the item in the list here against the item on the drawing, and I could use the reference markup for that, but all I need for the purposes of this exercise is the information from each of these rows. So now, a little bit of a mistake there. I accidentally just clicked the mouse just the once, so it put just a tiny little area on. There we go. But I can go back and I can remove that and renumber everything. So there we go, I've got 21 parts. So what I'm going to do, let's just zoom in a little bit on there, is go into one of those items. This panel, I can move it around screen, I can park it anywhere on screen, I can dock it in a location that I'm happy with, and this is the area that I'm working on. This is it in large view, and I can drag information into a particular column. So also I can tidy up, so if I don't want any of these columns, I can remove those just to give me a nice clear view. So let's grab that part number and the part name, and let's take that. So the idea is that I'm working through, and let's just take that and pop that onto there. So I'm working through each line, each row, and taking the data. Now we're using something called OCR, optical character recognition, and we've got an OCR engine in use that's very versatile, very flexible. It can be adjusted by the user to suit the particular text, the particular font of the bill of materials, of the drawing, of the print. So it's actually reading this quite well, so I don't need to make any of those changes, but perhaps the bill of material, the drawing, has been kicking around for a few years. It's been on the floor more times than we care to mention, and it's a little bit grubby, a little bit dirty. Well, the OCR once you scan that in, obviously the OCR tool, we can change some of the settings to remove some of that dirt, some of those marks, so it reads the text to its best of its ability. But it's doing a good job with this text. So I'm just grabbing all the blocks of information, working my way through. So that all this information from our bill of materials file, and this is you can do some customization because we could have pull downs and things. Obviously that was a hardware item, catalog part. This one is also this fastener, this nut. So you've got the ability to kind of semi-customize, and we can work through and build up this one also. And so at each step I'm just quickly validating that the data that I'm pulling through is acceptable, that it's read it correctly. But if you imagine giving this document to someone else, maybe an administrative, a data entry clerk, you would still have to come back and validate each row of data. Or I could type this in, but being an engineer, my typing skills are a little lacking for speed and accuracy, so actually doing a keyboard entry for this data, it's open to mistakes. So we're removing some of that opportunity for error by making, I've got an item here that has zero part count, so I'm going to leave that for the moment, and we'll come back to that a little later. So there's obviously an error or something on that bill of materials. Maybe someone's forgotten to include the part count for that particular item, or maybe it was in there, and now because we're at revision D, maybe that part count has been maybe that part's been removed from the assembly. Maybe it was part of an earlier revision, but obviously it's something that I need to check on, so we'll come back to that in a moment or two. So let's just pull all these pieces of data through. So let's grab the information. So all the time I'm just keeping an eye open, the information that I've taken through. Because what we're going to do, we're going to use this to build up a new bill of materials file, but this time in an electronically readable format. So I'm going to build up an Excel file, and that Excel file, it can be used as an editable document, also being in a machine readable format. Maybe our procurement department might want to use that to parse the information to read it into the ERP system, providing an automated process for creating the bill of materials in the ERP system. I'm going to use the Excel file output from this to create my assembly, including subassembly detail, in my repository. Now I've finished, that's the last feature. So let's just take a look at that. So we can actually check that we've got everything by using the show missed features. So I can see that I've captured all the information on that bill of materials. Let's reset that and switch that off. So I've got two items there. What happened with that one? Okay, I didn't validate the unit of quantity, and then the other one, that doesn't have any. So now this is highlighted. I need an answer on this, so I can take that out either as a print or as a PDF, and maybe send that over to the customer or to one of my colleagues as a discussion and say, look, what's happened to this? Do we need that fairing spat assembly in there? Because if we don't, then I'm going to have to delete these child parts. If we do, okay, I'm going to go in and put my quantity in there. And just to finish that off, let's drop that in there. Okay, so now we're good to go. We've validated that everything's okay. So what I can do is go back to my list. I can see we've got 21 features, 21 parts. I'm going to need my bomb creator form, and let's just check we've got everything on there. So now I've got a couple of pieces of information missing. Let's put my name in there. So there's one more piece of information, and that's the date. There we go. So let me save that. Now what I'm going to do is take this out as an Excel file. So just save that to desktop, and I can close that down. I'm now going to create my part that I need to do my full FAI or PPAP, and let's say my customer is, for this instance, Rolls-Royce. My part number is X2347246-35, and my part name is F-23 strut fairing assembly. So you can see why they don't like me creating all those parts manually. And so what I can do now is go and run the visual bomb. So this is an application to build the complex assembly from another document. So we're going to go and open up that Excel file. So there's our assembly. I could have had the tool configured to change the report style, so to identify automatically those standard catalogue parts. So there we go, and just to import those, I've got 21 parts, and it's building my assembly within the Visual IPI repository. So that now I'm going to have an account of every part in the assembly, and I'm going to have to do some reporting against those parts, whether it's a first article inspection report, a dimensional report, a PPAP report, or something else. So there you can see the assembly, and there's those hardware items. And if I run the visual fair against that part, let's go take a look at what forms required. So let's pop in those, in this case the aerospace forms, aerospace first article forms, and let's go take a look. So you can see the work we've done is now built some of our reporting for that assembly. All very nice, neat, quick, and with the minimum possibility of errors in translating the data.